In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to actually beat the TikTok algorithm and go viral. By far, some of the most comments I get is why my TikTok videos stuck on 200 views or 500 views. How can I get out of view jail and actually go viral? So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what to do. I'm going to show you first, explain how the TikTok algorithm works, because I'm not being funny, but if you don't understand how the TikTok algorithm actually works, how can you expect to go viral? It's just like if I took my car to a mechanic and they sat there scratching their head thinking, I don't know how this car functions, they wouldn't be able to fix it. And then secondly, how can we beat the algorithm to go viral? So what is my reason for doing this video? Why should you even listen and believe me? Well, I do digital marketing full time. I have an agency and I've worked with some of the biggest brands on this planet, including all of these brands on screen with me, which have paid me between 4 and multiple 5 figures to do YouTube and digital marketing and TikTok marketing on their behalf. And I've even got some testimonials from them. First link in the description if you want to check that out. And then also I've grown my own software, Verlo, to over $100,000 in revenue in the first 9 months without touching paid ads through entirely organic marketing. So that is just some of the achievements on my resume. If you're a brand, TikTok is how you connect with Gen Z. So like I said, I do digital marketing. I work with all sorts of brands, from digital brands like softwares to high street brands like cafes and coffee shops, the whole spectrum. And all of those brands, to a certain extent, are looking to appeal to a certain demographic. And more often than not, those brands are looking to appeal to Gen Z. Gen Z are going to be making a lot of buying decisions over the coming years and decades because they're the ones entering adulthood. I'm Gen Z. I've entered adulthood. I'm now going to make a lot of purchasing decisions. And whether you like it or not as a brand, your demographic lives on TikTok. So if you are not appealing to that demographic on TikTok, you're putting yourself at a massive disadvantage. So what you need to do is you need to understand why certain videos on TikTok only get around 5,000, 6,000 views, yet a very similar video can get up to 30 million views. Why the discrepancy for two videos which look almost identical? Well, my friends, that is because of the algorithm. You see, when you post a video on TikTok, the very first thing that happens is a robot decides what's going to happen to that video. Now, the reason a robot decides what's going to happen to that video is because there is far too many videos posted on TikTok every single day and every single minute. So an employee at TikTok can't possibly sit there and scan every single video that gets posted. So a little robot looks at your video and determines a few factors. They determine whether it's unoriginal. If they believe it's too unoriginal, they won't even showcase the video to people. They also want to see if it's NSFW, so it goes without saying that it would severely damage TikTok's reputation if they allowed videos that were pornographic or anything to that extent. So of course, they detect that and they ban those videos. Same if it's discriminatory, and also if you spam too much content. Don't be posting 20 times a day on the same account expecting every single video to go out to the public. So these are some little things that a robot scans for when you first post. Now, a lot of people say that and they get annoyed like, oh, but the algorithm hates me. To a certain extent, I understand what you're saying because it's not a human, it's a robot, it's an algorithm determining these things. But if you know how the game works, if you know how to play the game, like in a way, you got to learn how to do certain tricks and tactics to be able to appease the TikTok algorithm, then there should be no reason to complain about your videos getting stuck in the algorithm. Okay, so if after 24 hours, this is a nice little rule I like to tell people, my clients, right? If your video is under 150 views after the first 24 hours, there's a good chance that your video was not eligible for the For You feed. So you can see right here, this video is not eligible for recommendation in the For You feed. If you disagree with this content restriction, you can appeal. This is what we call, in a sense, a shadow ban. The reason it's a shadow ban is because your video was not blocked. There's no sign that says it violated TikTok community guidelines. But what did happen is it was, for some reason, whether it was unoriginal, whether it was didn't appeal to the community guidelines in one respect or another, TikTok would not show that on the For You feed. And that is a big deal because when it comes to TikTok, the lifeblood or the bloodstream of TikTok is actually the For You feed. It's what happens when you open the app and you scroll through. That's how you see content. It does happen, like this video on the right here that I posted, much of the traffic sources actually came from search. Almost 83% of viewers actually found my content searching for it through SEO optimization, which is another thing my team and I are very good at. But that's besides the point. The point is, if you want to get a lot of views on TikTok, more often than not, you really need to appeal to the For You page. That's the section where you're going to get a lot of views. So if you find your videos are getting under 150 views within 24 hours, check to make sure it is eligible for the For You feed, because that may be a factor why you're not getting pushed out there. But let's say you are getting over 200 views. Now we can actually start talking about evaluating your content and how we can get it to improve. So this is how the TikTok algorithm really works, right? What happens is when you make a piece of content, TikTok shows it to a test group. So if you've got a brand new account with 0 followers whatsoever, that test group will be entirely non-followers. No one that follows you because no one knows about your account. So you post, TikTok shows it to around 200 to 500 people. The ranges change. Sometimes it's 150 to 300, sometimes it's 200 to 500, but it's around that sort of people. This is like the pilot audience. Imagine Netflix when they drop a show on a Netflix series, right? What happens is they don't just drop all 10 episodes of the season. A director comes to them and say, hey, I want to make this series, and Netflix will say, okay, make 1 episode, a pilot, and based on the strength of that pilot, we will then decide whether we want to commission you to make the whole season. And they'll go, okay, that's what it's like with TikTok. TikTok's reputation lives and dies on having good content on their app. They want people to feel addicted with every single piece of content that they see. So when you make a piece of content, they show it to a test group, they show it to a pilot audience, and based on how that pilot audience reacts to your content, is TikTok determining whether to go, okay, cool, we need to show this content out to more people, or you know what, not good enough, we're not going to show it to anyone else. So that's why your videos get stuck at 200 to 500 views, because unfortunately, it just didn't pass the test of the pilot group that saw it. There wasn't a good enough indicator in TikTok's algorithm to go, okay, cool, this is a good piece of content, let's push it out to more people. And obviously, as a brand, this is a big deal because you want to be able to pass that test group so you can get your video shown to more and more people. So what determines whether it was a good or bad video? So watch time is the biggest indicator. If your video is 60 seconds long, but people are leaving straight away, that's a bit of a red flag for the TikTok algorithm. Ideally, people want to be watching a lot of time. So one way this helps is by making longer videos. If your videos are over 60 seconds long, you're naturally going to have a longer watch time because the average will be brought up as more people consume more of the video. Then alongside that is viewer retention. So if someone watches 100% of your video, fantastic. Absolutely amazing, exactly what you want. Chances are that's not going to happen. So viewer retention can decrease. It can be 5% of people have watched the full video, 10% of people have watched the full video. My personal recommendation, what I found is if your video is above 60 seconds long and you've got above 10% of people watching the entire video, there's a good chance that video can reach 6-figure views, 7-figure views, etc. That's a very good benchmark. The shorter your video is, like down to 30 seconds, 15 seconds, you've really got to have a high viewer attention to have a good chance of your video going viral in the algorithm. And then next comes engagement. So engagement is how people interact with the content. Shares is by far the best. Then you've got comments, bookmarks / saves, and then liking the video. Liking the video does next to nothing in terms of engagement, I've noticed. So a lot of brands I work with, when I come and I evaluate their TikTok, Instagram profiles, a lot of them go, this video didn't get a lot of views, but it had so many likes. I said, okay, well, did you share this video out to your friends? Were they just watching it and liking it and then clicking off the video? They said, yeah. I said, yeah, that's not what you want. You don't want people to just click on the video, like it, and click off it. I appreciate that's your friends and they're trying to do benefit to you, but that actually does more harm than good. You would rather they watch the entire video and not like it, than then click on the video, like it, and click off again. Likes do absolutely nothing for the video in the grand scheme of things. It's almost negligible. The best thing someone can do is click on your video or find it in the For You page, watch the entire video, comment and share it to a friend. That is the very best thing they can do, and follow you afterwards. If they do those 4 things and you get enough of those four things by your pilot audience, that video's got a great chance of skyrocketing to the moon. Okay, here's a massive misconception that I have to teach a lot of brands when it comes to TikTok and the algorithm. A lot of people think when you post a video, it's now TikTok's job to push that video to the audience. It's like, I post the video, it needs to now find the audience. TikTok, do your job and find the people that want this video. In reality, it's the other way around. TikTok has its audience, it's trying to find videos that match the audience. Now, this is a very, very important factor. I know it sounds like it's the same thing, but it's really not, because TikTok caters to the consumers, not to the creators. If TikTok had an app where, assume people are mutually exclusive, they either create content or consume content, there's no in between. Obviously, in reality, that's not the case, but there is a weighting. Like I create far more content than I consume content on TikTok for both myself and the brands I work with, right? And by the way, me saying all this, if you do want me to directly work with you, I know I'm giving a lot of information here for free, but if you'd rather me come in and provide personalized advice and even come in and help create content for you, then you can check out the first link in the description and book in a discovery call, a strategy call with myself, where directly me and you, someone from your business, will talk about exactly how we can apply this to your own social media pages for your brand. But here's the ingenuity of this, right? When you post a piece of content, TikTok's not thinking, how can we push this content out? They're thinking about the consumers scrolling on the app. How can we find content that suits him or her? How can we find content he's going to like? So you've got to make content that appeals to the consumer. This is the trick. TikTok would rather have 1,000 people consuming content and one person creating content than 1,000 people creating content and one person consuming content. I'm going to say it one more time. TikTok caters to the consumers. They want 1,000 people consuming, one person creating, not the other way around, because consumption is how they make money. They make money when people consume. They see ads when they consume. That is how they get paid. So you need to make sure you make content that appeals to consumers, not the other way around. So what you need to be looking at is, where is the market going? What is trending? What are people watching? That is the ingenuity of this. You're not making content about your brand thinking, okay, this is about my brand, now TikTok, push it out to who likes it. No. What do people like in the algorithm? What is causing a lot of watch time? What is trending? What is going viral? Let's make content around that and then feed my brand into that virality. Is it starting to make sense and click here? So that is the real ingenuity of this. What's going to happen is your video is going to be shown just like the other videos in the pilot audience, and it'll be judged across those other videos, and whichever one does the best, that is the one that's going to get pushed out furthest in the algorithm. And then what's going to happen is you start to go up through stages. So some of your videos will get stuck between 200 and 400 views. If it does well, it'll qualify to the next pilot audience between 500 and 750. If it beats that, it'll go up and up again. And that's how you get a lot of videos that branch between a certain category. And then you'll get some videos that push up to the tens of thousands of views, 100,000 of views, and even millions of views. So if we look at these two videos I posted on the exact same day this month in January, right? This video, 400 views. This video, 28,000 views. What was the difference? They look very similar. The intro, okay, this one I've got my hoodie on, this one I haven't. Maybe these people got scared. That was the difference. Who knows? But I like experimenting with my content. Here's the trick, right? If we look at the actual percentages here, the engagement, this video, 8.7 seconds average watch time, 1.88% watch full video, versus this one, 15-second average watch time, 5.63% watch full video. So the numbers do not lie. In fact, this video was shorter as well. So it was only 60 seconds long and a 15-second average watch time. This video was 83 seconds long, but only an 8-second average watch time. Like I said before, the numbers do not lie, and a higher average watch percentage as well, watch full video. And then look how many shares, bookmarks, comments, massive, right? And that just goes to show that the numbers do not lie on TikTok. So it's a very systematic game, but as long as you appeal to these numbers right here, the watch time, the watch full percentage, and the shares, bookmarks, these engagement stats right here, that is how you're going to be able to have the best possible video. And iterating around what works is how you're going to find success. And look, TikTok to a certain extent can be a bit of a lottery. You will come across certain videos where you think you've done everything right and it doesn't work well. It can be the pilot audience not liking the video, but also you can have things like delayed booms, which I'll get into. Because what if the video stats are absolutely fantastic, but it's not blown up? This has happened to me in the past. It's happened to brands I've worked with, but I've always said, do not delete a video. Never delete a video. You can make a video unlisted, so it's not public. You can private a video only if it doesn't follow your brand or the brand direction you want to take. Otherwise, never delete a video. Why? Because what can happen is two things. One, it's a too small target audience. So let's say, for example, let me give you an example of football. I love football or soccer for those of you in the States, right? So let's say that one person supports Real Madrid, massive football team, massive soccer club over in Spain, and another person supports Deniz FC, tiny football club in London, tiny. No one really has heard of it. If I make a video about Deniz FC, no one's getting a lot of views, right? This club doesn't exist obviously, but I'm giving an example. It could have the fantastic, best stats ever, but it's not got a big enough target audience because no one cares about my club. Versus Real Madrid FC, you might not have amazing stats, but because it's about Real Madrid, there's a massive target audience there. Global football's interested. You can have higher overall views. Does that make sense? So sometimes your target market can be very small. I always give this example when I work with local businesses. So I have some local businesses I work with, cafes, even some lawyers and accountants, right? And I say to them, don't worry if your videos don't get hundreds of thousands of views, because remember, you're a local business. What's the point of getting hundreds of thousands of views if those hundreds of thousands of viewers are in another country or continent? It makes no difference. You want to appeal to people that are in your place. So include your city in the video, and you might only get 2,000 views, but if 1,500 of those 2,000 viewers are in your city, in your town, within 10 miles of you, bingo, you've hit the lottery. That's far better than getting 100,000 views or people in another country or continent. So don't worry too much about video stats if you're looking at other factors like location, proximity, etc., and target audience. And then the next thing is you're not giving it enough time. Delayed booms are interesting things that happen on TikTok. I don't know why they happen, But delayed booms is basically when you post a video and about 30 days later, for whatever reason, it catches fire on the algorithm and goes ape. It just absolutely exponentially takes off. And there's no good reason to understand why. The only thing I can think of is that in the background, TikTok is testing the video still. And then out of nowhere, they seem to find an audience that works and just lets it fly. Other thing could be you made a video about someone or something that suddenly became viral and now a lot of people are searching in the algorithm and it caused your video to be brought up even though you posted it ages ago. Many would say you're ahead of the curve. But the point is delayed booms can happen. So never delete a video even if the views don't look great. Okay, so that explained how the TikTok algorithm works. Hopefully you've been taking notes and you understand what it takes you understand what it takes to beat the TikTok algorithm, because now we're exactly going to discuss the game plan that I use to beat the TikTok algo. And it does have a little bit of changes depending on the client I work with. But overall, this sort of system is what I rely on, especially when working long-term with a business to build a sustainable TikTok brand. So first thing I do is I use a site called Verlo. I actually co-founded this website, like I showed you at the start of this video. Why? To help with the research side of things. When it comes to creating content, research is manual and it's very tedious. Verlo, you can create a custom niche. So I've created one around cafes. I work with a lot of cafes and it shows me exactly what is working. It gives me example content that I can replicate and I can save these to a collection box. So this is the perfect sort of site to use when it comes to market research. Like I said, I built it for this exact reason. I've been in digital marketing for multiple years now, and I wanted to make a software to fix a problem I genuinely had. So I'd recommend using Verlo. Next, I follow the EAAR framework, the EAR framework. How's this work? Experiment, assess, adapt, repeat. 4 steps, literally as simple as that. EAAR. So experiment, how's that work? When I first take over a social media brand or come in as a consultant for a brand, I look at how consistently they're posting. A lot of times it's not very consistent whatsoever. So I make a plan with them. I say, hey, look, you've brought me in to help you. You paid me money to help you. Let's get this straight. I want to help you guys, but you've got to help yourselves at the same time. So I want you to make a pact with me to consistently post for 6 weeks. 6 weeks, I want consistent posting. Now, we can decide what consistent posting is. I like saying once a day for brands. Some are really locked in and want to go 2-3 times a day. Great. But the main thing is we're consistently posting, because what we're going to do, this is before you go viral, we're just putting a lot of content out there and we're seeing exactly what works. We're iterating. Now, I have an idea as to what is going to work really well, but there's no guarantees in life and there's no guarantee on the TikTok algorithm. But what I can do is to point you in the right direction to post content. And then when you post content, that will lay the foundation is to every decision we make next. It's just like when you have a balance sheet on business, you have a statement of cash flows, that then tells you what you need to do next for your business. You can't decide what you're going to do from an accounting standpoint without doing any business, right? Similar sort of process here. You can't audit a business that doesn't exist. We can't audit your social media profile if it doesn't have enough consistent posting yet. So once you start consistently posting under my guidance, what I then do is go through an assessment procedure. That is where we analyze every single post performance. Well, I want to see what their stats were. I care more about the stats than the views. The views matter to an extent, but stats are far more important to me. Why was the videos doing well? What was the common trends between the viral videos? Was there a special hook in place? Was there a special call to action in place? Was there a theme? Was there something shown at the start of the video? Was it the location? I'm talking, we analyze this to the very fine detail. Every detail we look at, what could make this video go viral for you? Because for every brand, there's different reasons why it would go viral. And we want to find some kind of continuous theme between videos. I found themes where it's been a case of there was a certain sign shown in the back of the video at every intro for this particular brand. And now that sign is like a bit of like, it's not rage bait, but it was a comment starter. So when you looked at the comments, everyone was commenting about the sign in the video. And no one would have noticed it, but obviously with my keen eye, I was like, these videos did really well. They were the same opening shot. They were the same opening shot of your place, of your cafe. And look what sign was there. It was creating a lot of basic conversation starters in the comments. Let's keep doing that. Let's run that sign more in your videos and see what happens. And lo and behold, it works. So little things like that, assess the videos. Then we adapt. So following on from the assessment procedure, we tailor the content towards virality. So this is a page I used to run back in 2022, Why Inspire. Arguably still my most successful TikTok page ever before it got banned for unoriginal content and community guidelines. I learned a lot of things on TikTok over my years, don't you worry. So when this account started in February 2022, I remember it like yesterday, right? It took me a month to get to 1,000 followers. And then 5 months later, I was at 500,000 followers. Why? Because I just adapted to what worked. That first month was me posting, trying everything. And there was times when I was thinking, this is never going to work. Like I would post and 20 videos in a row, get 200 views. 200 views, 20 videos in a row. That's like 15 days in a row posting, 10 days in a row posting, getting no views whatsoever. Like thinking, what is going on? I'm growing by a follower a day, if that. And then it started to click. I found a video that went viral and I just iterated and copied it. And you can see these last 2 posts that day, 100,000 views, 300,000 views. You can see the branding. You can see the format. I adapted to what worked. I just got my head down and just went with it. And that gave me the understanding of how social media actually works. Because if you understand virality and you understand how to create content that works, then you just got to remix that formula over and over again. And then finally, repeat. Same format. Template, length. If you use an AI voice, use the same AI voice, the style, everything. When you found a formula that works, milk it until it doesn't work again. Because social media is a case of sometimes you just got to do the same thing over and over again. It clearly resonates. And if you're doing the right things, your video will be shown in the For You page anyway, alongside people following you. And the For You page is where you're going to find new audiences. And if this audience already liked the content before, new audiences should like it also. So that is the exact framework to follow. Like I mentioned before, if you are a brand and you made it this far in a video, clearly this video to a certain extent resonated with you. Take away the advice, implement it. If you want me on board to help you, to give you specific advice for your business, either as a consultant or to come in and actually take over basically social media pages, scripting, ideation, etc., you can book in a strategy call down below. First link in the description. Down there, you can watch a video about basically just giving a bit more background about who I can help, what I do. There's also some testimonials there, and then you can book in a strategy call with myself. This call will be with me. No one else takes it. I take the call. Disclaimer, I do normally turn down about 70 to 80% of businesses I work with. Reason being, they just don't fit basically who I want. I want to help people I know I can help, basically. I'm not there trying to just take money off people that I don't think I can help. So that's why I take every call, not anyone else. I take every single call for this business. Regardless of whether we work together or don't work together, one thing I can almost guarantee, because everyone that takes this call says this, I give them something actionable to take away with their business. So whether we never work with each other ever again, you'll get something that you can take away and utilize for your business. So yeah, first link in the description, it will say work with me. That link will give you the opportunity to be able to have a call with me, and we can see if we're a good fit for each other to implement this into your social media brand. And also, if you want to know about a marketing tactic that I use more primarily for YouTube rather than TikTok for brands I work with, it's called Trojan Horse Marketing. It is absolutely fantastic. I love it, and all the clients I work with absolutely love it too. So check out the video right beside me, and I'll show you that in more depth. I appreciate you watching this video. Subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next one.